Massive 7 days last week. Did you miss it? Crypto's presence or importance was placed into sharp relief against the biggest story of the week as COP26 has brought dire warnings about climate change, an obsession with the difference between 1.5 and 2, and questions about whether governments still fighting to disentangle themselves from the grip of COVID really can do something about it. There is this sense that we are in the midst of a classic Strauss-Howe Fourth Turning, the unexpected major event that will involve everyone and completely change the way people think about everything. Now, according to that theory, the fourth turning closes the cycle and then is followed by an artist-driven new first turning called the high, the artist-driven phase. So I ask you, are NFTs and crypto art the opening salvo of that new turning, or is it just a load of crap soon to sublime to a cloud of putrid nothingness? Big questions that demand big thinking time, so cogitate your guts out while we hear from our sponsor. DeFi users, you no longer need to pay expensive and unpredictable interest rates on your ETH loans. Liquidity, a decentralized borrowing protocol, allows you to borrow against your ETH interest-free. Loans are paid out in LUSD, a USD-pegged stablecoin, and need to maintain a minimum collateral ratio as low as 110%. To learn more, head over to liquidity.org/defiant to get started and get the most out of your borrowing needs today. So much to get through from last week, so let's get going and do this fast. The Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, released its much anticipated and much postponed updated guidance on virtual assets. And there have been a number of reactions to this from the likes of Coin Center, Jake Chavinsky, and more, ranging from mildly optimistic to deeply skeptical. In general, though, they agree that the guidance, far from clarifying anything, which was the whole point of it, in fact does the complete opposite. So we're left to pick through the guidance and interpret it, which we shall do in more detail tomorrow. But suffice it to say that the big winners earning the big checks from all of this are going to be the legal teams employed to figure this stuff out on both sides of the battle lines. But like I said, more on this in a future video. Now, these battles, believe it or not, are kind of similar to the ones that the big social media companies were fighting in the early 2000s. But back then, they were actually the good guys. Hard to believe now. And Facebook was back in the news last week with the reveal of its long-anticipated new name, which was designed to reflect its pivot to a metaverse-focused company. And the name? Meta. And here's the new logo. Woohoo! Well done, Facebook. In one fell swoop, toxifying the name Meta, appropriating the metaverse for yourselves. Big time. Now, Facebook's metaverse is going to be VR, it's going to be AR, it's going to be social, there's probably going to be NFTs and stuff involved. And here's Mark himself demoing the experience of being in the Facebook metaverse with an in no way at all cringe-inducing game of space poker.
Oz, that you?
Of course it's me. You know I had to be the robot, man.
I thought I was supposed to be the robot.
Now, this rebrand provoked predictable backlash from, well, everyone. And then apologetics aplenty as the wise explained just how long ago Zuck was actually thinking about VR. Like, 4 years ago, and as far back as 2018. Gosh, that was a long time ago. Oculus executive Jason Rubin sent an email to Facebook board member Mark Andreessen with the subject line, "The Metaverse," in which he stated that the metaverse is ours to lose. It's Oculus's, Facebook's to lose. And the battle seems to be drawn over who can perform the most labored verbal contortions around the new name. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez called Facebook a cancer to democracy, leaning into Meta as the advanced party in the word metastasize. She even threw a carefully judged exclamation mark to ram home the point further. Shivers. And in The Atlantic, Ethan Zuckerman, no relation, just threw shade at the metaverse instead. So if nothing else, it's gotten us talking. Facebook is apparently set to spend around $10 billion on... Meta is set to spend around $10 billion on making itself the all-pervasive, all-invasive digital death trap we know it can be. A big number in a week dominated by big numbers. Well, hacks, to be precise. with the hastily created Anubis DAO, a fork of Olympus, exploited for $60 million and Cream Finance done over for over $130 million. That's a lot of scratch. One was a rug, the other was a complex flash loan exploit, but the result is the same. Egg meet face. But the big numbers kept rolling in as developer platform Alchemy announced a $250 million Series C round led by, yes, you guessed it, Andreessen Horowitz, whose approach now seems to be, just buy everything! Buy it all! Just buy it! Buy it! I don't care what it, just buy it! And even that was less than half the $530 million that this CryptoPunk sold for, although this was actually a clever flash loan engineered stunt where the item appeared to change hands for $532,414,877.01. It actually didn't. The cost of the whole thing was 0.19 ETH, but still, maximum Chad flexing, whoa. But even that number pales in comparison to the ludicrous story of the Shib Kazilli Billy trillionaire whose wallet was shared around by twits everywhere. $8,000 worth of Shib last August, now worth in the region of $5.7 billion. Was this the greatest trade of all time? Well, no, it's not a trade until you sell it. You try selling $5.7 billion worth of Shib and see what happens to the market. But of course, this is all accompanied by the sad tale of those who sold too soon. Witness this.
I just got a message from a couple of mates and they told me that this token called Shiba Inu, it's cryptocurrency, has gone up 67 million% since January last year. Now, in January last year, I was browsing Reddit and I came across a subreddit that recommended buying these meme tokens, and one of them was Shiba Inu. Now, at the time, I put $2,000 into it and I left it for a couple of weeks and I lost £300. I sold it at a loss. Anyway, it turns out that would now be worth $1 billion if I hadn't sold it. How'd you live with that?
But you didn't, sir. The facts are what they are. And on that note, we shall end. Coming up this week, we were looking into FATF's updated guidance in more detail, going deep on a new leverage product from OXB1. The NFT show returns with an all-star lineup of guests with Fluffs, ASM, and Artifact joining us on the stream. Our new show with Real Vision returns Wednesday, and this Thursday we will be kicking off a new open metaverse series on Spaces with Ryan Gill of Crucible. There is an alternative to Zuckerberg's Meta, and we can all play a part in building it. Oh wait, finally, our big digital fashion film will drop Friday. Just a normal week. Subscribe, like, ping the bell, do what you must. Above all else, have a great week. Peace!